Hey, book lovers, I'm Candace.
And I'm Chrissy. And you've just stumbled into your new favorite book club, Bookalicious Pod.
We're two sisters reading our way through fantasy, fiction, thrillers, and the occasional "what did we just read" moments.
Every week, we break down books chapter by chapter
with deep dives, hot takes, and detours into sisterly side convos.
Think a cozy book club mixed with a FaceTime call, sprinkled with a little chaos.
We don't hold back on the characters we love or the ones we love to hate.
We play games like Read It Like Reddit, Red Flag or Deal Breaker, and have Spotify polls for you to guess along with our plot theories.
If you've got a TBR pile a mile high, including ACOTAR or Frida McFadden,
or just want to feel like you're hanging with your bookish besties, hit play. This is Bookalicious Pod.
Welcome back.
Yeah, we made it.
Woo! Oh my gosh, this book, 400 pages in, and it's finally cooking up. It's finally firing up.
It's getting closer, but would you say you still know what the plot is?
I'm like, I decided halfway through, I'm just along for the ride. Where is R.F. Kuang taking us? Nobody knows. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
It's the journey journey's half the fun.
But it's like the problem that they're trying to resolve is so big. How can you possibly wrap it up in a button?
Especially when, oh my gosh. Let's see. Can you see this?
Yes.
This is what we've read. This is probably where the plot, where the problem was introduced.
Yes.
This is how much we have to resolve it. If you're not looking, what I was pointing to is we have a very small amount of the book left to resolve this.
We're at least 80% of the way through.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to wrap it up. Well, I guess, is this our last? Do we only have one more section after this of reading?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we can re-ask this question at the end, but do you think she'll be able to land the plane?
I feel like what they're going to do, how she's going to land the plane, is that they're going to do something small but pivotal, like the classic bird flaps its wings and then it makes a tornado.
I've never heard that. I've only heard a butterfly makes a hurricane.
Oh,
but I like a bird makes a tornado. Maybe both are sayings.
No, it's the butterfly. It's the but that one, Well, maybe it is going to be a bird because there's birds on this cover and not butterflies.
We got to make that happen.
And I feel like they're wanting a tornado to go, because tornado goes through the middle and destroys everything in its path.
That's true.
Hurricane mixes it all up.
Well, I was going to say a tornado is kind of more random. You never know where it's going to go. But a hurricane's really big.
That's true.
So I don't know. Could go either way.
But regardless, they're going to be the bird or the butterfly, and they're going to flap the wings. And then maybe there's going to be an epilogue or something that connects it.
Mm-hmm. I could see that. Yeah, I feel like she's going to tie it into a real event that actually happened. And if I knew my history better, maybe I would know what that event's going to be.
I was thinking, because I was like, wow, like, so hard tying in all this history, X, Y, and Z. But if you already know the history, it actually probably makes it a lot easier to write a book like this because you already have all the beats.
Yeah, I know. That's a good point.
And
you're kind of like Gail Carson Levine. Yes. Rewriting fairy tales.
Yes. You're just weaving in this side story and it air quotes explains how it happened.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Maybe that'd be a good way to write a book. If you, I guess you'd already need to know the history or at least be motivated to learn the history.
the tricky part with this is that you've really got to know the history, and I don't know how you can know all of this history unless you have two masters and
I
potentially a
know.
PhD in the
By the
subject.
age of 18. That's the only way.
That's the only way. Ugh.
I
Okay, so what do you think?
think she'll be able to land the plane. Yeah. It did suddenly balloon into a huge, we're solving the whole world's problems. Very sadly. And also the back of the book says something, or like, that little summary says something about like how you're the translator, but you're the only one who like knows what the truth is, so you can like change it. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. They gotta go back to Canton, I guess. And he's gonna be in that role. Cause so far that little blurb hasn't really happened in a dramatic way.
Well, I remember in like part one, I was like, oh, Robin's gonna have to translate something and he gets to decide what the truth is gonna be, and that's gonna shift
Yeah.
history. That's where I thought we were going.
Yeah. Well, I thought that's what the inside flap said too, but actually it doesn't. But
No, I think that's what I've always said.
that's what you said. Okay. Well, I thought that was a great idea, but all right. So maybe we're not going that direction. I'll stop
The
holding out for that.
Well, hold it out with me because maybe it'll still come true. But the back says, can powerful institutions be changed from within, or does revolution always require violence?
Okay, yeah. All right, that's where we're going. That makes
That,
more that tracks with this last section.
yeah, that feels a little bit more on brand. I agree.
I think so. Okay, okay. Well, we should try to answer that question after we talk about all this and see where we
Okay.
think it's going.
All right. Well, let's do it.
All right. Welcome to Bookalicious, a podcast where two sisters chat about books we're reading. I'm Chrissy,
I'm Candace.
and today we are on our episode 3 of Babel, and we've read all of book 3 to the end of chapter 22.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. A big section.
A big section. Do you think we could have done this in three parts?
That would have been a lot of time for not a lot of episodes. And we definitely wouldn't have been able to uncover every stone that we've been able to.
Yeah, I know. I think three would have been hard. And we talked about this on the last episode. These have been a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't have three measly episodes
I know.
to show for it.
I
Sorry.
think we could even break this up into more. Our end of book games, that could be its own episode.
This could be a 15. If you wanted to really get into the meat here, you're talking about a 15 part
Yeah. Minimum.
minimum, which we've done, but we're not going to do it again.
We would need to learn a few languages to really get into things.
To really understand it, the pod is going to teach us Chinese.
Yeah.
Is it
Greek,
Cantonese,
Cantonese, some French.
French, German, all of it? Okay.
But nope, that's not what we're doing. We only have
No,
4 episodes.
only 4 episodes. So, baby girl, take us away.
All right. So we left off with Robin leaving Hermes and Griffin staying true to his word. He hasn't shown up asking Robin for any more missions. Robin and the gang have been busy preparing for their third-year exams and have bonded like soldiers going through war together. After little sleep, lots of studying, and lots of tears, they take their exams and they pass. Woohoo!
Mm-hmm.
They celebrate, and Letty convinces them to go to the university college ball. However, once there, Letty and Victoire, have we been saying Victoire? Vict Vict
We say Victoire.
I have no idea. That's how I'm
I
saying it in my mind.
I looked it up and we're circling the drain on it, but it's not quite. But why don't you?
I think Victoire is close enough.
Okay.
I think that's as good as we can probably get, according to my Google, my quick Google. Victoire.
Yeah.
All right. So while there, Letty and Victoire get harassed by rich boy Pendennis and his friends. And who knows what would have happened except Rami and Robin swoop in and they all escape. They then discover a private Babel ball happening and they join in and have the night of their lives. Any
Okay.
notes on that section?
Okay, so there was a lot of um racial tensions slash what do you call it? Um
Gender tensions?
Gender tensions, but more than that, like what do you call it? Like implicit bias, implicit
Oh,
racism.
um,
You know, like when you're not trying to do it, but you do it.
yeah. Yeah, maybe
What is that
implicit
called?
bias is the best word.
Um,
Inherent?
Unintended.
Yeah, I kind of feel like implicit bias is maybe the right thing. Automatic, involuntary attitudes or stereotypes that affect understanding actions and decisions in an
Yes,
unconscious manner. Yeah, I think that's right.
yes. Implicit bias, implicit racism, that concept. This is like Letty's had like little glimpses of it, and like
Yeah.
this ball is where it goes full, fully like in the forefront of the story, and it starts
Mm.
to like create division with the friends.
Yeah.
So I think that is important because this is going to be a theme that continues on with Letty.
Yeah.
And as I was reading the book, it was something I was like really struggling with because you have four protagonists and one of them is a white girl and I feel like I'm the Letty and
I
it's
know.
like
We are the Letty. That was
and
it was kind of tough.
painful.
Yeah. Agreed.
So you're like reading it and you're like watching this happen and Letty doesn't have bad intentions,
Mm-hmm.
but she's not listening to her friends. Like she kind of listens, but like not fully.
Yeah.
And then these things start happening.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So to be concrete, the gang was like, we don't want to go there. It sounds horrible. We're going to be, looked at like show monkeys at this
Mm-hmm.
ball because we're not white people. And Letty's like, no, that's ridiculous. That's not going to happen. Like, what are you talking about? We're all Babel students. We're all equal. And they're like, no, this is going to go bad.
Yeah.
And then they go there and it goes really bad.
Yeah.
And Letty is like, I can't believe it. I No one could have predicted this happening.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah.
babe, we told you.
Yeah. I mean, is that the only way it could have gone? I guess so. I don't know. I guess we have no idea.
Well, that's what's like troubling because it's like Letty wanted them to go with like these really good intentions, like, oh, we're gonna have so much fun. Like, I love going to balls. Like, it's gonna be such a great time. Like, you're gonna be with me, especially for Victoire.
Yeah.
And then they start saying these horribly racist things,
Yeah.
like disgusting. And Letty's just shocked about it. And I guess I understand Letty's perspective. I think the flip side is that Letty's never seen this racism because no one's been racist to her, but also it's probably happened in like the sidelines, but she's never really noticed it.
Yeah.
And so for her experience, she's like, oh no, that wouldn't happen. Like people are polite, blah, 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 blah. But it's like if she had
Yeah.
been paying attention, she would have seen, oh no, this actually happens all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
So I don't know. What do you think?
Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's tough reading the book and being Letty or identifying yourself with Letty.
It is tough, especially this section. I was just like, I don't know if Letty's in the wrong. Like, she just wants them to have fun. But I think where I landed by the end of the section is that ultimately, if Letty would do less and listen more, things would be better with her and her friends. But then that's not who Letty is. So I'm like,
Yeah, I feel like listening is always a good approach. Like, you don't know someone's experience, you learn from them what the experience is. But I mean, I also do sympathize with her, like, struggling to fully understand, because it is hard to understand if you haven't lived it for 18 years.
That's the
you
other
know?
thing is that the gang is they're kind of like they kind of hold her these really high standards, like kind of unrealistic standards to expect of someone who's never experienced it. It's never been talked about in like society, but they want her to be like the perfect person for them, but it's like she can't. And so then she lets them down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know. I right. But then I guess on the flip side, it's like you were saying, she could have been a better friend earlier on by noticing that Victoire was she had to like use the bathroom outside or something. I was like, how did you not notice that?
There
Like that's crazy, Letty. Like so like yeah, maybe Letty was could have been doing more. That's possible.
I yes, exactly. Like as it starts to so it's like when it first happens, you're kind of like, and then as it starts to come out more and more, and like because like, yeah, I've been using an outhouse for the past 3 years.
How do you not notice? That's crazy.
Like what?
Yeah.
You know? So then you're kind of like, all right, girl, like you got to get like your head out of your butt and like take a look around.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. It's possible it could have gone another way, but yeah, I don't know. Sorry,
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I know. It's hard and it's hard for us to really talk about it. So, all right, let's carry on.
Okay. Soon after, the latest and greatest technology, Morse code, is invented, and Babel students are recruited to be Morse code operators. While Robin is working his night shift, he sees two Babel students making a clandestine trip to the tower, and it smells like Hermes agents. When he looks closer, he sees it's Rami and Victoire. Robin is going to pretend to not notice them, but then they set off the wards on their way out and they get trapped with their seemingly innocent contraband, silver and books. Robin runs out, frees them from their trap, and then tells them he'll take the fall for them and explain things away. Rami and Victoire are flabbergasted that Robin is a part of Hermes, and they can't think of a better plan, so they flee.
Okay.
So far,
Were you surprised by that?
not really. I think we had talked about that.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised by that at all.
Yeah.
Um, do you think Rami and Victoire were recruited because Robin said no? Or do you think they were
Oh,
recruited
independently.
independent? Hmm.
I don't want to say independently because honestly, they always need people. That's what it sounds
Yeah.
like. Like just because they lost Robin, they have always needed more people. So,
Yes.
and does the timeline match up with when Robin said no? Or I guess they've joined after Robin has already said no, so that does match up.
Yeah, they joined up after they had been, we find out, for like 6 months or something. And Robin's been out of the game for like maybe a year,
I think less than a year.
maybe less than a year.
Yeah. And they've been in part of it for less. I think it's like 3 months or 2 months or something.
It's been before Anthony went missing because Anthony went missing in the previous recap that we did. And Robin's like, wow, how crazy. He got lost at sea.
Oh.
And we were like, yeah, dum dum, because he's in Hermes, just like your brother Griffin.
Yeah. That was a crazy that he didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, one other
Hmm.
thing that we forgot about the ball part is that we find out that Letty is like in love with Rami.
Oh yeah. Well, but and it seems like Rami likes Letty too, which I was kind of confused about with the rest of the section because it never comes up again. I don't know. I wasn't really following.
It I took it as like in another world, Letty and Rami could be like a couple, but Rami is very much like into justice and fairness and not being around racist areas. And Letty is
Yeah.
just too clueless for that to ever work.
Oh yeah. I was thinking when Rami's like, oh, that can never happen. It was just because like they can't be together because of racial differences.
Yes.
Like no one would accept them. He would, I don't know, maybe be attacked because they think something
I mean,
malevolent
honestly,
is going on. That was my understanding of it.
So do you think, because Rami proceeds to be very dismissive of Letty
Yeah.
for the remainder of the book, do you think that that's like his way of just trying to be like, this is not going to happen? So it's like, I have, like, the only way for you to stop is for me to be nasty. It's to like make you not like me anymore, basically. Is that what he's doing? Or is he like actually kind of annoyed with her?
I don't know. Maybe both. I don't know. To me it seems like just the second one that he is just annoyed with her. But so
Yeah.
then I'm like not understanding that he likes her because I really
Maybe
wasn't picking up on that. I don't think.
I thought Rami and Victoire seemed like
Right. That made
they're
more
both
sense to me too.
they're both in Hermes together. They're both dark-skinned minorities. They have like the same view on social justice. They're both very smart. Like they seemed like a better match.
Right. I don't know. I don't know.
I think too, Rami might have his own implicit biases against rich British people because of his experience of how they've treated him,
Well, that's a good point. Yeah.
and I think he kind of lumps Letty into that. And so I think there's probably some like misdirect of anger.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's kind of interesting. Because, yeah, maybe she's kind of drawing out like kind of everybody in the story has their own biases and prejudices.
Everybody does. Everyone has
Right.
that. Everyone
Right.
has that. It's just when you're a minority, you get it from everybody all the
Right.
time.
Yeah.
And it's like embedded within the systems.
Right.
Versus if you're the majority, okay, you're also getting some biases as you navigate. I mean, Letty's a woman, so she has her own prejudices for being a woman
Mm-hmm.
that she experiences. But I don't think it's as like I think we talked about like the tiering. Although I think we talked about it last time. Being a woman felt like it was even worse in this society than being
Different
um
color.
a different a non-white person. But maybe not. Maybe it's about the same as being a man.
I
I
don't
don't know.
know. I don't know. Really can't tell. Can't
Yeah,
tell.
it's hard to know. Regardless, the point is everyone has their own biases, and I'm kind of feeling like some of Rami's biases are firing back at Letty as a misdirect because she's being so clueless, and I think he's just so frustrated by it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It seems like everyone's so frustrated with her. So I guess that's maybe everybody.
I mean, that's the other thing too. If all three of your best friends are saying the same thing and you can't figure it out, it's like, come on, everyone's telling you the same thing.
Yeah.
Even if you, because sometimes it's hard to like believe that about yourself. You're like, no, no, I don't think that. I blah, blah, blah. But if everyone tells you, all of your closest people tell you that, it's like you have to just stop and be like, you know what? They might be onto something here.
I know. I mean, I agree. It is, but it is hard because her whole life she's been told something else. Like,
Yes.
it is hard to rewrite that all overnight.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
We're an
Okay.
hour in.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
oh, we're 30 minutes in.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That makes a lot more sense. I was like, oh my gosh.
We have an hour left.
Okay. That sounds
All
good.
right.
All right. Okay. So they come, Rami and Victoire let flee the scene. Robin is taking the cover for them. The cops come and bring Robin to none other than Professor Lovell. Lovell says, how long you been with Hermes?
Ooh.
And Robin goes, how do you know about Hermes? And Lovell says, of course I know about Hermes, you idiot. Lovell then proceeds to dismantle all of Robin's half-hearted arguments about why Hermes is a just and righteous society. Robin then says, I'm done with Hermes, don't worry. And Lovell persuades Robin to divulge info on one of Hermes' meeting spots. But persuade is a loose term here because Robin very readily gives up the information. Like, okay, well, I have one more part and then this thing
Okay.
wraps up. All right, Lovell also tells Robin the truth about Griffin and Evie Brooks, the star student who suddenly died. Griffin brutally killed Evie in cold blood because she saw him on one of his Hermes missions. Maybe it's hot blood. I don't know. Griffin used a silver bar with a Chinese and English match pair. Lovell has been looking at that bar on his desk for years and decides to give it to Robin so he can remember who the good guys really are. Lovell apparently thinks Robin isn't too far gone and sends him on his way.
Okay, Lovell, you are an idiot. Why would you give someone who is flip-flopping on loyalties a bomb?
I
And
think that's a great point. Do you think he kind of, I have no idea. I guess did he really think Robin wouldn't use it? Because he's not
I
that temperament?
I think Lovell thinks that Robin is docile. I think he thinks that Robin is less human than him.
Yeah.
I think and because of those things, he underestimates Robin at every turn.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think those things are definitely true. But still, why would you give him a bomb? And why did he keep it for so long? Like, I guess can you not really destroy it? So it's like you don't want anyone else with the bomb, I guess.
You could destroy it. There's the way you can destroy the silver, and I imagine there's a way that you could like because if the etchings get um soft, then it loses its power. So I'm sure you could just
Right.
like
Rub it.
buzz it off.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe for Lovell, he looks at Griffin as like this big failure in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And now and so he wanted to be like reminded all the time, like the consequences of like messing up or whatever it is.
Uh,
And now he has Robin, and Robin seems much more air quotes docile and wanting to follow the rules and wanting to please, probably more than Griffin was. I imagine Griffin was probably more independent, and more would fight back on things.
yeah.
And so, but I would never give someone a bomb.
I know. Especially someone who like he's got to know that Robin doesn't really like him. I mean, I don't know.
That's why I'm like, he has to just be completely underestimating
Yeah.
Robin and underestimating his own horribleness.
Oh yeah, probably both.
Where he's like, well, I've actually been quite good to Robin. Because he even says these things, like when he's like, we've done all these things for you. This is
Right.
that. And Robin's like, okay, my family died. You decided not to save my mom. And then you asked if I wanted to be a pauper on the streets or if I could come with you. And now I need to be like your indentured servant from now until
Yeah.
the end of time. Like what?
Yeah.
So I think Lovell overplays what he's done for Robin.
Agreed. Do you think what's up with Evie Brooks? Why do the professors love her so much? Do you think she's
Well,
actually one of their kids?
oh, interesting.
Because that was a theory I had. But now I'm not thinking so because I was like, maybe she was one of Lovell's kids. But from what we know so far, I don't think so. I don't think it's that intertwined.
If I had to guess, it's because Evie Brooks seemed like she was a star. She came up with all these match pairs. They were probably like,
Yeah.
what a great investment for the Institute.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how often there's student on student violence. Like they lose a lot of people due to travel, sickness, things like that. But I don't know how often they're losing people because the scholars are killing each other.
I feel like they wouldn't even, it doesn't seem like they really value the students. I don't see how that would really make all that much of a difference.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it does. It just seemed, I think probably the biggest thing is she was a good return on investment, like
She
you're
was
saying.
yeah, and they're like, dang, all that
Yeah.
lost potential for Griffin, who could barely even do the silver work because
Yeah.
he doesn't dream in his home language because he got plucked up too soon,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to find things. Did you? Oh, there. I keep giving Frances this bottle and she keeps throwing it on the ground. I'm
Oh,
never
good.
hungry or not.
Half of my comments in this section with all of the racism and sexism and horrible things is like, we can't have anything nice in this book.
I know. I know. By the end, were you just kind of like worn down? Or like,
Yes.
mm-hmm,
Yes. And I imagine that's how Robin and
right.
Victoire and
I
Rami
know.
feel, where
I
you're just
know.
like, another thing. And that might be why they just have zero patience for Letty, because they're just like,
Right.
I can't take it anymore.
Yeah. I guess so. I mean, I guess we can talk about this more when it comes up later. I'll bring it up later when it comes up.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So anything else on this?
Um, this is something that Lovell says in that last section when he's talking about him and Griffin. And he says, You, Robin, are less corrupted by your heritage than he, Griffin, was. If I'd only just met you, I'd be hard pressed to guess you were a Chinaman at all. Like, these are the types of things. And Lovell thinks he's being like complimentary.
I know. Yeah.
Like, that's the worst part, where he's like, I just said the greatest thing that I possibly could.
I know. Yeah. It's all awful. And it just continues.
Yeah. And then I said, I was like, this is interesting that Lovell feels that way because Griffin doesn't dream in Chinese or um, Cantonese, whereas Robin does. So between the two of them, Robin is more air quotes Chinese than Griffin.
Um, yeah, but he has kept the good parts of it. He's kept the language, but not the
Not the
the other undesirable
deviousness.
traits. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I think that's what
exactly.
he's thinking.
Yeah.
Man. Uh gosh, I know. It's all very devastating. Do you think any part of Wobble? No. I don't think any part of him liked anything about China. It's just using it. Is that
I
how you're reading it?
I think there was some like fascination with the novelty of it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think there's some things like they find out later in this section when they go back to his house and it's full of all of these like
Artifacts.
trinkets and artifacts from
Yeah.
China. So I think he had like kind of a fascination of it, but not a respect.
Yeah. I think that's right.
He's like, "Oh, that's cute. That's cute that they do
Yeah.
that."
It's cute. Those little subhumans came up with this.
Yeah, like look at how hard they're trying. Like I'll
Yeah.
buy a little trinket. Like I feel like that's
Yeah.
how he viewed it, and so he'll just never respect them as people and certainly not
Yeah.
as equals.
Yeah. Yikes.
We carry on.
All right. Okay. So Lovell thinks Robin isn't too far gone and he sends him on his way. However, things aren't completely peachy keen. The next day, the gang learns that they are going on a last minute global expedition to do some translating work for Babel. Why such short notice? Babel says it's because they're in desperate need for Chinese translators to keep the trade open in Canton. But Rami, Victoire, and Robin think it has to do with the close Hermes call. Either way, the gang starts their voyage to Canton under the guidance of our favorite Professor Lovell. Rami and Victoire are angry that Robin never told them about Hermes, and Robin doesn't really see the big deal. Either way, they're all upset with each other and are all around miserable. Letty, who's completely out of the loop, is pumped for their trip and can't get what's bringing everyone down. The rest of the gang doesn't tell her. It's a very uncomfortable, weeks long voyage to Canton.
This is when I really felt for Letty.
Me too, where I'm like, I mean, this one really isn't her fault. That
No.
she's just trying to be her normal self, trying to bring people together, and they're not telling her, which I kind of get why they don't tell her. Like, I don't think they're really wrong for not telling her, but it is just like sad that they're so awful to her, or like
Yes.
very short with her. Maybe not awful.
No, they're kind of awful. Like when she
Yeah.
comes into the, because they're all trying to have like a conversation together, but Letty keeps coming in and interrupting them, which is frustrating because they're like, we need to talk about this, but
Right.
Letty won't stop buzzing around.
Right.
So then every time she walks into the room, they get quiet.
I would hate that.
I would, and you're on like this small boat for six
Yeah.
weeks.
That's awful. Yeah.
And she's like, these are my best friends. And like, they don't want to talk to me. And I don't know what I've done. And this and that. And she keeps like trying, trying, and trying and trying. And they just keep pushing her away and like not giving her an inch.
I know. Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. So, yeah, this whole section, it was tough for all of them. But I I was sad for Letty.
And I think like I maybe that's like something that's kind of interesting is that you have these like different perspectives and whoever you are, you'll read and probably identify with one more than the other.
Yeah,
And we're the Lettys,
right.
so we're
That's
feeling
fair.
really empathetic for the Lettys, but then in the other times, the racist times, you're like, wow, this is really horrific. This is
Hmm.
more horrific than I would have expected. Like
Hmm.
even now in 2026, like reading some of these things, you're like, wow. And I feel like this is probably pretty accurate to not every scenario, but some scenarios that would happen at that time.
Yeah.
Versus if you're the person who's facing a lot of the racism and then you see, oh, here's my friend who's like trying to connect with me and she's trying really hard, maybe you could find like some empathy of like, well, she's at least trying to do like her best. And I could throw her a bone once in a while. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's off base. I don't know.
Yeah, but I get that they're just, I don't know.
They're
Everyone is
o-
done.
they're
Everyone's
over
over it.
it. They're exhausted.
Yeah.
What did you think about Rami and Victoire being upset that Robin didn't tell them that they were in
I
Hermes?
kind of also wasn't super. I kind of also thought that was a little unfair to Robin. I mean, I don't know. So their whole point was you should have known that we would have loved to join the society. Why didn't you tell us sooner? And I was kind of like, I mean, I guess it's clear that they would have loved the society, but I do remember something in the first section where it seemed a little gray whether they would have wanted to join, at least from what we've known. I guess to me, it wasn't abundantly clear. I don't know. I guess it was clear that they wanted to join.
So
I'm
what
not
you're
sure.
talking I know. I feel like a lot of this book, and we talked about this last time, is R.F. Kuang trying to untangle some thoughts in her own mind on different big social subjects,
Yeah,
including like going against like the society that you get to benefit from.
right. That's a big one.
That's a big one.
That's tricky.
Like, okay, maybe you're not like the top citizen, but you're part of the machine, which is better than being outside of the machine.
Mm-hmm.
So, do I want to be the cog that stops working and breaks down the machine? And now
Yeah.
at my own detriment? Like that's really hard.
Yeah.
Um, but so what you were talking about is in like the first day of class, Robin was like asking these questions on fairness and this and that. And all the other students were kind of like, what? That's crazy.
Right? Yeah. But I guess that was the first day of class.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying. So since then, things have changed.
it's been 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, let's see. Yeah, I guess at that point it would kind of make sense to tell them. Be like, hey, there's this club that I think you'd really like.
Or even, and we talked about this last time, is that there could have been an opportunity. There could have been opportunity for Robin to be like, what do you think about the ethics of Babel?
Yeah.
What do you say? And then they would say, wow, I think it's like horrible. I think he could have like broached the subject and then as like a bid. And if it didn't go well, then he'd be like, well, I had that conversation that one time and it didn't look like it was going well. So I didn't want to like put
Yeah.
myself out there.
Okay, actually, I'm kind of changing my mind. So I think he could have done that, but also he wasn't really sold on Hermes' mission either, and he
No.
was getting put in danger all the time. So he's kind of like, there's an issue with Babel, but Hermes what isn't the solution, is what he decided.
Yeah.
Hermes is dangerous. So why
Yeah.
would he point his friends to a dangerous club that isn't going to even fix the problem?
Yeah.
So I kind of am like, I feel like he didn't tell them because he wasn't sold on Hermes either. If
Yeah.
he thought it was all great, he probably would have told them. So really, it goes back to Griffin being a bad recruiter.
Griffin is a bad recruiter. I also feel like Rami has a little bit of an ego and he
Yeah.
likes to be the star. And I feel like the reason why he was upset when Robin got invited to the rich kids club and he
Mm-hmm.
didn't, and then he finds out Robin got invited to Hermes first,
Right.
And I'm sure
That's
he's looked at the
twice.
timeline and then he wonders, am I Robin's like wingman?
Am I the sidekick?
Rami has no idea that this book is actually about Robin.
I know.
He's in it thinking this book's about him.
Yeah, he thinks he's the Batman
Yeah, but
and Robin's the Robin.
yeah, Robin's Robin. So
But there's no Batman.
to me, I think there's a little bit of ego in there. And then also, I think Rami felt like him and Robin would tell each other everything. But then
Right.
I'm like, but you didn't tell Robin either. And it's been a couple months now.
I don't think it has been a couple months, and they were about to tell him, which I kind of believe.
Yeah.
I feel like they were telling him as soon as they really could have,
Yeah.
because you also want to be a good secret.
Oh, you're mute.
Did you want to be a good secret agent? You want to just tell everybody as soon as you join. So, so I feel like they were gonna tell him as soon as possible.
Well, and what would have made sense is that they would have said, hey, Anthony, we really want to tell Robin we think he'd be good for this. And then Anthony would be like, no, that's not a good idea. Because surely Anthony knew.
Right? That's true too. Um, yeah. Unless is that part of their secrecy? They really can't tell anything to anybody.
I, I feel like because like we find out at the end that there is like, nobody knows 100%, but each person has like a small chunk.
Yeah,
And Anthony and Griffin are in like the same chunk. So I feel like they would have
they would know.
a lot of overlap in information.
Right. But like it's part of their like policy. They're like, we can't. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
It seems like it would be helpful for them to tell about Robin though. But
Uh,
honestly, after Robin just spilled the beans all willy-nilly, yeah, good thing they don't tell him anything. Robin is so untrustworthy.
okay. Did you think that it made sense for Robin to just spill the beans?
No, it would have made sense for him to make up something and say they have a secret meeting place at the Twisted Root. Why
Yeah,
didn't he make something up?
I wouldn't be that clever.
I guess. I mean, yeah, it is hard under pressure.
Like I mean, but that's why I'm not a secret agent.
Yeah. And that's why Robin ditched out too, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't
Clearly.
blame Robin for not being able to think of something quick. I think what he thought of quick was you guys get out of here, I'm going to take the fall.
Right.
So,
Why do you think he did that? Because later it comes up, they're like, oh, you were just scared. Like, really, everything you do is out of fear and trying
yeah,
to self-sacrifice so you feel better about things.
Rami's like your archetype in the friendship is the martyr.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's where he feels most comfortable. Um, I think there might be a little bit of truth to that, but I think Robin, I don't know. To me I didn't take it as like a martyr. I took it as like Robin will do anything for his friends.
I kind of took it like that too, especially when he took the cover for them. But I didn't think it as much when he told Lovell all the spill the beans. So I guess I'm
Yeah.
getting mixed signals from him. But I do think he is scared of like taking a stand.
hmm
His goal is really just to survive. And that it's kind of a passive thing.
Robin makes a really good point where he's like, you guys have a family to go home to. I have a big
That's
pile of
true.
nothing.
That's super true.
And it's like, we're all in this together, but at the end of the day, I'm the one that's going to be 100% homeless.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
It is a good point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think
So,
that's what I like about this book is that no one's 100% right
yeah.
or 100% wrong. Everyone's very multifaceted. There's a lot of layers
Yes.
to their stories.
And that's what's difficult with like a lot of when you have disagreements with people is that you're both kind of right, you're both kind of wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's really hard in the moment to see the other person, how they're right, because all you're doing is feeling yourself and how you've been wronged. It's really
Mm-hmm.
hard to like. put yourself in the other position.
That's a good point. So are we saying they could all listen to each other more?
I think so.
That's our takeaway message.
Okay, let's carry on.
All right. Rami and Victoire are angry that Robin never told them about Hermes. Oh, wait, did I read all this?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's right, I did. Okay, great. Um, Eventually they arrive to Canton and we learn what really is going down is the opium trade. The British want to ensure free trade in Canton, but really what they want is to sell opium to the Chinese. The Chinese emperor says, heck no, that stuff is super dangerous. You can't sell that here. The British disregard this argument and say, we don't know what you're talking about. Opium is the safest thing ever. And really, this is all about free trade.
Okay, pause
Yeah.
really quick. The opium trade, I looked that up. That was like a real thing that caused this huge opium epidemic within China. All these people were getting addicted to it. They were
Yeah.
dying. It was terrible. And you know why in real life why they wanted the opium trade?
Is it like kind of to control China in a way?
It was to get tea and silver.
Whoa. I'm telling you, I think R.F. Kuang, she just thinks in fantasy stories. She heard this history and she was like, excellent novel.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is.
Because
Wow.
because the Chinese they were like British were like, "Oh, do you want this? Do you want that?" And they're like, "No, that's actually kind of bad." And then the British were like, "We really want your tea. We really want this silver." And they're like, "You don't have anything that we want." And then they're like, "Well, what
Mm,
about this really addictive substance? Do you want that?" And then they smuggled it in, and China was like, "This is bad. You can't bring it in." And they were like, "We're gonna do it anyway."
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, this book is pretty true to story then.
The big beats
Yeah.
are true. The in between, fuzzy.
Fuzzy. A lot of the characters are the same though. Like all these historical characters she's bringing in, real
Yep.
people.
Yep.
Crazy.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for that fact check.
Yep.
Okay. So the gang is sickened by the British businessmen's blatant racism and hatred for the Chinese, by the havoc opium is wreaking on the community, and also they have never really smoothed over everything that happened since the Hermes thing. So all around, it's a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
Robin is tasked with translating negotiations between one of the British businessmen, Mr. Bayliss, and the Commissioner Lin. It is incredibly unproductive, to say the least, but Lin surprises everyone and asks for a private word with Robin at the end. Here, Robin candidly says that negotiations aren't going to work because the British don't see the Chinese as fully human. This seems to confirm what Lin was already thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the next day, they wake up to the smell of burning opium. Commissioner Lin has set fire to all the opium that the British brought. Lovell yells at Robin and blames him for the whole ordeal. He then whisks the gang away and says they've booked an emergency trip straight back to England.
Okay. Can we pause here?
Yeah.
So, one of the things that you didn't talk about is that Robin is finally back in his home country and he feels
Oh,
like a
right.
foreigner.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like walking around and he needs to see, because he's been hearing all of these like theoretical things with the opium. It's the free trade, it's a this, it's a that. And then he goes into like an opium den or like a parlor and he sees the people and they're just strung out, which is horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And then he remembers his family. The reason why his family was poor is that his uncle wasted all of their money on
That's
opium.
right. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then he sees all of the racism, all the horrible things. And up until this point, Lovell has been pretty nice to Robin, reminiscing on, oh, when you were a little boy, this, that, like trying to be like really sweet. But he
Mm-hmm.
sees these people think China, Chinese, Chinamen are not equal to British.
Right.
And they make fun of us. And they'll never respect me as an equal.
Yeah, that is a good point. And I like what he brings up later, where he's like, I didn't fully understand how bad opium was until I saw it. And I think
Yes.
that's a really good point, is that you really, speaking in the abstract and theoretical about how bad things are, doesn't do a lot to you.
No.
It's like when you see it, or like if people write, that's why like books and movies are so important. It's like when you see it, even if it's a fictionalized version, it's like it really makes an impact.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And even Letty, who, well, we'll get back. We'll get back to Letty on
All right.
this. All right.
Okie dokie. So they have booked their emergency trip back to England. And on the ship back, Lovell wants to have a private word with Robin. He asks what really went down with Lynn, and Robin tells him. Robin also tells him how he hates the way the British are treating the Chinese and how he won't do any more of these translation projects. Lovell says, I can't believe how ungrateful you are, after all I've done for you. Robin is growing in anger and asks Lovell about what his mother really meant to him. Robin has crossed the line and Lovell stands up. Before Lovell can do anything, Robin takes out the silver bar that killed Evie and says the match pair, immediately killing Lovell and leaving him in a pool of blood. The rest of the gang comes in and says, What now?
Okay. What did you think?
That seems so shocking to me. I was not expecting Robin to kill Lovell. Despite what we said earlier about like how could Lovell give him this bar?
This
That's it
bomb.
still seems like
Yeah,
came out of nowhere.
I know. But it's because Robin saw fully what Lovell and the British were about.
Yeah.
And I just think that he just couldn't take it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
he made a rash decision.
I know. I will say on my reread when I was like putting the summary together, it made it fit a lot more. Where I'm like, ah, yes, I see how
What
this
made
all
it
led
fit
together.
more?
Um, well, I think like since I knew it was happening, I saw the clues along the way. But I think what you said about like the opium den, that yeah. Um,
I feel like Robin has a lot of rage inside of him,
yeah.
and he's never let it out. And I was like, this is what happens when a like non-confrontational pleaser gets pushed too
Yeah.
far.
And you've given them a bomb.
And you've given them a bomb, they throw it at like the craziest time. And you're like, oh my God.
Yes. Okay, what do you think? Do you think Lovell would have actually done something to him? Like if Robin hadn't thrown the bomb?
I think he was probably gonna like whip him like when he was a boy.
Yeah.
And I even wrote somewhere, Robin was kind of like in his mind, he was like, hit me like I dare you type of
Oh, yeah.
thing. And I was like, I wonder if Robin wanted Lovell to hit him so that he could kill him and say it was like self-defense and feel like justify it kind of.
Oh, uh-huh.
So like I guess in other words, Robin wanted Lovell to hit him so that he wouldn't feel the weight of the choice of killing him.
Mm,
He could kind of be like, "Oh, well, I had to. I was just getting swept with the tides."
yeah. But he didn't wait for Lovell
He didn't
to
wait.
get the chance.
But later on, he does try to say, "Oh, it was self-defense."
Yeah. But do you think he's kind of just trying to piece that together so he feels
I think he's
as he can
trying
sleep
to
at night?
I think he's trying to ease the conscience, which I would
Yeah.
do too. I get
Yeah, I would too. I know. I know.
it. Any other thoughts? Would you have killed Lovell if you were Robin?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I like how they bring up both the silver bar and then later the gun. It's like you can kill people and you're kind of distanced from it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, he really didn't have to do anything physically aggressive. It
No.
was just all of his inner anger coming out in words, which is kind of his specialty,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So, so would I have killed him? I mean, I don't know. I would like to think not, because do you
I would
still
like to
think it's
think
like
not
the
too.
right choices not to kill him? On the other hand, it did seem like it was very helpful for the anti-war effort
Yeah, by the end, you find out that this was actually the most strategic thing that could have happened
of
for
Lynn blowing
Hermes
up the.
in
Oh,
in killing
okay.
Lovell.
Oh, right, right, right.
Killing Lovell was like a brilliant strategy
Yes.
move.
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of like, oh, if you could kill Hitler, like, would you?
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
I do feel like there's a difference between killing someone in like the name of war or something like that, where it's like planned out and you're like, this is why, this is what we're gonna do, versus I'm feeling this intense emotion and I'm gonna react on it and now I've killed you.
Mm-hmm.
They're both bad. I don't know that, I don't know.
I think
I
you
feel
get
like
more jail time for the premeditated.
the premeditated, you do. I know there's just like different rules when it comes to war. I don't know how I feel about that. I've not really put a lot of time into it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yikes. All right. So gang walks in, sees a dead Lovell, and they decide that the best course of action is to just drop Lovell's body in the middle of the ocean and pretend he's sick the whole voyage home.
What do you
What do you think?
think? They do Weekend at Bernie's. Did you ever see
I
that movie?
know. Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought dropping him off in the middle of the ocean probably a pretty good route for it to go because it was super bloody. So it's not like they can really pass it off as like he was just got sick and died.
He
So
had
that's
cholera and his
yeah,
intestines just came out on the outside. He just
I know.
like, oops.
It was really bad. Bad
Really
bout.
bad. Yeah.
I feel like the best thing they could have done though is just be like maybe on the ship they could say like, "Oh, he's sick" or something. But then from here on out just say, "We don't know where he is." I feel like that would have been the best course of action because they kept trying to explain where he was. Like, "Oh, well, we just talked to him and he said he was okay."
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, "That's try to be ignorant." That's my thought.
Yeah. You don't think that the crew would have been like, okay, you guys clearly did something.
I think the crew you could say like, "Oh, he's sick. He's in his room." And I
Yeah.
think that's fine because the crew doesn't really care anyways. And they
Yeah.
don't really know anybody and you really probably can't get traced back to them. Who
Yeah.
knows? But then once they're off the ship, whoever asks, just say, "Oh, he wasn't feeling well. We haven't heard from him."
I know.
Like they're trying to do too much.
I agree. I agree. They're trying to like they're doing too much with this facade.
Yeah.
They're not good spies. They're not trained. Hermes
No.
didn't train them.
No. No.
So, mm-mm.
They are missing a crucial part of their whole society, recruiting and training.
So this moment kind of brings the gang back together
That's true. Hmm.
because all right, they've had their differences, but now they have this horrible secret and they have to decide if they can trust one another, in particular Letty.
Yeah.
And I feel like Letty, like, she kind of like waffles and she kind of keeps saying, like, well, why don't we just like tell the truth or this or that? And everyone's like, no, that's not going to work out.
Well, so actually for this part so far, Robin is the one who's like, "What if I turn myself in?" And everyone's like, "No,
Oh, yeah.
can't do it."
Okay.
But that does come up later.
Okay. Um, but did you think that Letty was going to squeal on them once they landed ashore?
I mean, out of all of them, yeah, I would think it was Letty because she was also the most nervous, so it's possible it could just happen accidentally, you know. But I think she like was maliciously going to. Um, I mean, no, because it's a story, but like I wouldn't be all that surprised
Yeah.
if she was like, "I'm gonna explain it away." You know what she does? Actually, I think she does have a plan of like, "Well, my dad knows a lawyer. We can say it was out of self-defense." That's true. I
Yeah.
could see that happening. But I think her friends convinced her enough to not do it.
I think they convinced her enough not to do it. Oh, this was also where poor Letty, she's like, why did you kill the professor? And then she has to be revealed. Everyone's been in Hermes except for her.
This actually hasn't happened yet.
Oh, that hasn't happened yet.
But yeah, it's coming up.
Okay, all right. Then that's
Yeah.
all I have to say.
Um, yeah.
Oh, these
Do
are
you
my
still see your
comments.
huh?
I said, these are my comments. I want Letty to be cool, but she's going to tattle. And it seems like no one gets to the fourth year at Babel.
Yeah. Everyone disappears. They're going on this overseas trip and they bounce.
Yeah. Okay, what were
Yeah.
you gonna say?
Um, so in this setting, do you still see yourself as Letty? Like, do you feel like you would have wanted to go with a lawyer and
Yes.
go through the legal way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if I didn't do it. Because she really has had nothing to do with any of this.
Yeah.
These are just like her friends.
I know it's her best friends. It's her people.
I kind of feel like Letty maybe knows that if she goes in on the plot, these will be her friends forever.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Like before they kind of had school binding them together, but they're hitting the end of the
That's
road.
temporary.
That's
Yeah.
temporary. Here
Murders
is
forever.
murders forever. Here's a secret that we keep to the grave.
Yeah.
They can't let me go because then I can run off with the secret.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
And I feel like I think she just desperately wants to be loved. And I think she wants to be loved by these group of friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that. Wow. Wow. She's dedicated.
She's dedicated.
That's tough to keep this one a secret. I would also be falling apart.
Yeah. I don't know why they didn't just dump him over and say he got really sick and he died.
Or why don't they say, oh my gosh, he has a problem with being drunk, and then, tip him over and then say, oh my gosh, he fell overboard. Like,
His
wake up the
body
next
flips
day.
around. They're like, "Oh my God, he's drowning." And they're like, "No, don't worry about getting him." And then the body like flips over and you see that the insides are on the outsides and you're like, "Wow, that was crazy fall."
Don't drink alcohol, kids.
He must have drank like pure acid and it just
Yeah.
like melted his insides. Who knew?
How do I know? Okay, no, no. But you wake up the next day and you say, oh my gosh, he must have gone overboard. I don't know.
I think
Because,
that could have been a good
yeah.
idea.
Why didn't they? Because I feel like one of their reasons was, oh, well, there's blood all over the room. But that's going to be an issue no matter what. Didn't they clean that up or something? I don't know.
They have not been reading these Frida McFadden books like we
No,
have. They're
they
not
haven't.
trained in the art of the cover up.
They got a lot to learn. They did not have the spirit of Killing Millie come help them.
No. Mm-mm. Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. 25 minutes.
Woo. Okay. Um, all right, let's go. So the rest of the crew could care less about the professor, but the gang is riddled with anxiety about their new lives as fugitives and how they'll escape getting caught. Robin is also drowning in the guilt of killing his father, even though his friends say he deserved it. Once they get off the ship, they decide to stop by Lovell's house for the night before heading to Oxford. Why Oxford? What's their grand plan? Haven't figured it out yet, but there's nowhere else to go. Okay. During their sleepover at Lovell's, Robin stays up to keep watch and wanders into Lovell's office. Here, he discovers tons of letters between him and the British businessmen detailing their plans about instigating war with the Chinese. Robin learns that they never planned on negotiating with Commissioner Lin, but they wanted to rile him up so they had a just cause for going to war with them. Rami and Victoire can't sleep and they find Robin. They review the letters together and decide their only plan is to go back to Oxford and join Hermes to fight against this war. They've just agreed on this plan when they turn around and see a pale-faced Letty who's in shock and says, "What's Hermes?" The gang fills Letty in on Hermes and she says, "Why not go the legal route?" And they say, "No one's going to listen to us. And even if they did, they wouldn't care." They then fill Letty in on all the injustice of Babel, the racism they've experienced, and how Hermes is the only option. Letty's world is completely turned inside out, and she still doesn't fully understand why Hermes is the only way, or how her friends could have such a different life experience than herself, but she says, "Of course I'm going to join Hermes with you. I'm your friend. I'm with you until the end." Letty says this while sobbing, and she needs comfort. Robin, Rami, and Victoire feel a little uncomfortable that after all they had told Letty, she is the one who needed the comfort.
Okay. Whew.
The impact.
Oh my God.
I know.
Okay. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. Did you think it was a good idea for them to go back to Lovell's house?
No, they're leaving their trace way too many places. They've stayed in hostels before. They had to have had something. Also, did they rifle through Lovell's things and take all the important stuff? They take his money? They really
No,
got to be reading more Frida books.
I know. Stage a robbery.
Oh, anything. Yeah. It's a great idea.
Yeah, I know. Going to Lovell's house, that seems stupid.
Terrible move. Mm-hmm.
Terrible
Agreed.
move. I think if we had to explain it away, is that they've not been getting a lot of sleep. They've been stressed out since they left 3 months ago.
I mean, that is true.
And they're
I
just
wouldn't be
like,
making the best decisions. Yeah.
yeah, they're just like at the brim. So, okay, but this was a stupid move.
Agreed.
But I guess
They got
Robin,
book smarts,
they got
not
book
street
smarts.
smarts.
Yeah. Robin did get like the incriminating evidence. So by happenstance, it turned out to be a good move.
That's true.
But if he didn't get those letters, this was a dumb, dumb move.
Agreed.
Okay. Now we talk about Letty.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is where she's like, what do you mean?
What did you think about that?
It was hard because we're the Lettys.
We're the Lettys.
Mm-hmm. And I could totally see having this conversation and being like, what? What do you mean? But can't you just, go to the authorities? And they're like, it's not gonna work. So I mean, I think Kwong is really she's having a really realistic conversation here where it's like this
Yeah.
is totally how it would go down, I think. And I like that she's bringing out all these points.
And it's hard because it's like Robin, Rami, and Victoire, it's tough because they're the ones that have been victimized by
Mm-hmm.
all of these things. And then they have to tell Letty and then shatter Letty's perspective of the world. And now they
Mm.
have to comfort Letty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought that was interesting that she brought that up.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
And that I can understand how like frustrating that would be, where you're like,
Right.
wow, I just told you about all of these times that I've been victimized, and just you hearing it is like breaking you down. Imagine
Uh-huh.
me who's lived it.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
The flip side, though, is that Letty has just found out that all of her friends have been in this secret, dark society, which is part of the reason why they had to kill the professor and send them
Mm-hmm.
on this trip. And she's finding out all of these things all at once, and they're exhausted, and she's like overwhelmed.
Yeah, and they're like, why don't you get it? I'm like, oh, like that's what I was kind of like, okay, I mean, cut her a little bit of slack. I don't know.
And
But maybe I don't know. But I think it's the same thing where like no one's perfectly, in the right here.
in the right.
Right. Like in a perfect world, it's like, oh, you'd have immense patience. You could spend all night answering all of her questions and stuff. But it's like the reality is they're all exhausted.
Yes.
They've all been traumatized and
Yes.
you can't take
The
another
only
minute of this.
the only way that this would have played out in air quotes like the best scenario is if throughout along the way Letty had been like asking and listening
Right.
and like really seeing what was going on so that her reality wasn't shattered. And when they said, yeah, we joined this secret society, she would be like,
Makes
that's
sense.
shocking, but I get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess you're right. I guess this isn't the only way this could have played out. Letty could have been more aware along the road.
I think that's the only way Letty could have gotten out of this situation
Yeah.
without victimizing her friends more is if she had been able along the way to like see the nuggets.
Mm.
But she
Mm-hmm.
was just so oblivious. And I think that created like this tension where they're like, you're not going to get it. So I'm not even going to bother telling you.
Yeah. I think you're right.
And then you start getting this like division. And Letty, who's oblivious, she's like, well, why aren't we close anymore? I don't get it.
Right.
And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm tired of explaining this to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think she's gonna flip? Were you surprised she joined Hermes?
I feel like she joined because of the desire for connection. But what's still rattling in my brain is Robin saying we couldn't realize that our differences would make it impossible for us to stay together.
Mm-hmm. I know. There was a lot of Easter eggs along the way about how their friendship is going to break apart. And so far, hasn't yet happened.
Unless, like, we're counting the momentary fractures.
Right? I don't think so. I think the book would be more interesting if Letty flips after she knows a lot.
It's like, I think Letty is going to flip. I hope not, because that really leaves no, in this book, that leaves no hope for us who identify as Letty,
I
except
know.
maybe as a cautionary tale,
I
perhaps.
know. You know what that made me think of?
What?
Our listener mail about the silent patient, where she was like, this was terrible
Yes.
because everyone who was abused turned out to be an abuser, and that's awful.
Yes,
And I'm like,
exactly.
it made me think about this, where I'm like, gosh, the one white girl is like such a fool and isn't, yeah,
And she's going to be the one that betrays the crew.
right, yeah. And it's like, oh, great. Is that my only role in all this?
Yeah. Which, sometimes it's like sometimes that's what you gotta. I feel like reading this book has really given me a lot of perspective,
Mm-hmm.
especially identifying as Letty and like seeing,
Yeah.
having an opportunity to see how does that play out to my friends who are not white.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
And so there's been a lot of things, especially with like the listening
Mm-hmm. And
and
asking ahead of time.
and asking.
Yeah. I think it can be kind of uncomfortable though too, because it's like, I don't know, it's kind of weird to be like, so how's your experience as a non-white person in this, class or whatever? Like that's not how you would bring it up. But like
Well,
it can be
that's
kind
why,
of feel invasive or I don't know, maybe someone doesn't want to talk about that.
yeah, that could be strange. That's why I feel like it's more important to listen and
Mm,
then you could ask.
yeah.
Victoire would say, "Oh my God, I don't want to have to go to that outhouse again. It's raining." And then Letty would be, "Oh, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You have to go there?" And then,
Mhm.
and then she would say yes. And then you'd say, "Oh my God, that's horrible. Like,
That's
how does
true.
that?" Then you can ask, "How does that make you feel?" Like, I mean, obviously
Good
that
point.
makes you feel bad.
Yeah.
But that's why I think the listening is first. But with the
Mm,
Lettys, you want to be doing, you want to be proactive.
yeah.
That's why she needs to do less and listen more. That's what I think.
I think that's a good word.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going.
All right. Yes, let's keep going. Okay, great. So they've all decided to join Hermes. They go back to Oxford and they do their best to keep a straight face and not a I just murdered my professor face.
Uh,
Letty is the worst one at this charade. The gang chalks it up to her having food poisoning. While at Oxford, everyone asks, "Where's the professor?" The person who most wants to know is his wife, who shows up with their two kids. She says, "Hey, he's behind on his payments and his kids are forgetting they even have a father." Professor, I was like, my gosh. Professor Playfair says, "I don't know. He's still on his way back from China. I'll send a letter." Robin is perturbed by this whole encounter as it's his first time seeing Lovell's family and his half siblings. Things go from bad to worse, though, when the gang has to go to the faculty garden party. They don't know how they can muster up the skill to keep up the charade long enough, but it would look even more suspicious to skip, so they show up. Once there, Professor Playfair corners Robin and says, "So, where did you say Professor Lovell was?" Robin says, he's sick. Very, very sick." Playfair says, much of the faculty thinks he's dead. We in the Hermes Society would love it if that were the case. Wahahaha.
okay, pause. You
Yeah.
thought Lovell was in on it
Oh, in the last
in the
episode?
last
Or
episode.
Playfair was in on it.
Oh, Playfair was in it.
I
On.
was thinking that could be possible. And then I read this and I was like, oh my gosh, he is.
Did you
But
believe it?
for a little bit, but then it was pretty clear, like pretty early on. It's like, oh, this is fake.
As soon as he said it, I was like, he's lying. He's an NPC. He supports the Empire. Don't believe it, Robin.
I
Okay.
know. No. Ugh, sad. Okay, but I have another thought of another faculty that could be in it. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Um, All right, so Playfair says that. Robin figures out this is a trap and he feeds Playfair fake news about a Hermes meeting happening that night. Playfair is delighted and says, "See you there," wink, wink. Robin signals to the gang to get out of Dodge and they make a power walk for it. As they run away, they realize they have no idea where they're going. That is
Mhm.
until Anthony shows up and he says, "Follow me this way to Hermes." What'd
He
you think
has,
of?
uh, I mean, a convenient, I guess.
Right. Did it start to feel kind of like clownish a little bit?
It was feeling very much, what do you call it? Ex du machina, saved
Yeah.
by the gods.
Uh-huh.
Because they had been like sending notes.
I know, and they never showed up.
But part of me wonders, was this part of Hermes' plan to like let them get to the brink
Mm,
to make sure that they were 100 P in?
that's true. I could see that.
Because they seem the type to kind of like let the fire get all the way. You're like, oh my God. And then they like save you in the last second. So
I
I
mean,
don't
and
know.
probably a good call considering Robin already flipped on them. So then there's Letty, who they're not sure about. I mean, I kind of get
Yeah.
their caution.
Yeah. So maybe they were doing some recon.
Yeah. All
Um, yeah. But okay.
right. All right.
All right.
Yeah. Do I have other thoughts here? No, I'll save that till the end. Okay.
Okay.
Ready to go on?
Yep.
Okay. Anthony brings them to the Hermes hideout, and they realize that several Babel students are a part of the secret society. The gang tells Hermes about their trip and the letters they found detailing war with China. Anthony tells them Hermes' mission is to convince Parliament and the British public that it is against their best interest to go to war with China. Rami says, "You mean your big plan is to be lobbyists?" Anthony says, "Righto. But the trick is how do we get the public to care about this distant war?" Letty says, "Appeal to their human nature and sympathy for the oppressed?" Rami says, "Fool." Letty says, "No, really, you might make more ground if you're nice." And Griffin says, "The word nice comes from the word stupid. We don't want to be nice."
Ugh.
Sad. Keep going.
That was sad. Yes.
All right. Griffin has other plans of occupying Babel. Actually, no, one note on that. That one, I was so upset with myself just because I'm the Letty. And in the last episode, that's what I said about Robin when he was with the rich kids
Yeah.
and he was like tearing them down and he was like, ah,
Yeah.
they're nothing. And I was like, he could have been more nice.
Yes.
I said it, and now Letty said it.
Well, okay. I was like, y'all need to stop dogging on Letty.
Like, I mean, that's what I
She
was
does, I
thinking.
mean, I get like what they're saying where it's like you can't just be like, oh, like these bad things are happening. Do you want to go like stop your way of life to like no one's
Yeah.
gonna listen. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But Anthony follows up after that and he's like, well, actually, we could do blah 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 blah, which was kind
Right.
of, and I was like, y'all, if you had yes anded her, maybe you could have come up with a good idea.
I know. I kind of agree. Because also, it's like, it doesn't seem like her approach is counter to what they want to do. They want to lobby. Because Griffin is like, we need to blow up the world. And they're like, no,
Ugh.
Griffin. So, like, Letty kind of seems a little bit more on the same page a little bit. I don't know. Or, like, this could be a time to help her see
Yeah.
that's not going to work. But they just kind of shut her down.
I mean, there's not time, I will say there's not time to sit and explain
Oh,
to
that's fair.
Letty all of like the intricacies. So,
Yeah.
okay, fine. But I don't think her idea was so crazy that it had to be completely dismissed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, two things. One, I don't think it's that crazy either, but I feel like in the book it was portrayed as being such a crazy idea, and Letty is just a fool. And I don't know, I wish it were different. But maybe that's part of the point of the book.
You see, I didn't take it like that because Anthony yes anded her and came up with something good. So
Okay.
to me, it was like this is like the crew letting their past experiences with Letty and like thinking that she can't contribute
Oh, okay.
and pushing her away. But then you have Anthony, who is like, in this case, a pretty non biased party, who's like,
Right.
no, I think that's actually a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's a good point. All right,
Yeah.
well, my second thing is if she does turn, I think this is all building up to her turning. Because it's like she's been trying to reach out to them and be like, oh, what if we did this? And like they're kind of shutting her out. And
Yes.
so it's easier for her to leave.
I agree. I agree. Just like with Griffin and Robin, like if
Mm,
Griffin, because Robin kept asking, please, 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 let me in, let me help. And Griffin was like, no. And then Robin turned. So
mm-hmm.
I could definitely see if Letty turns, it's going to be these small moments that keep adding up where she doesn't
I
feel
agree.
loved or appreciated.
Yeah. I agree. Well, I wouldn't mind that as much because then it's a reason other than her just being like, you
Fragile white
people.
woman.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Um, Griffin has other plans of occupying Babel to cut off the British supply of silver so they can bring England to its knees and make some moves. It'd be easy. They would just need some rope, guns, knives, and a little bravado to make it happen. No one else supports this plan, though, and they want to go the less violent route of lobbying. They eventually take a break from their strategizing to go to bed, but Griffin takes Robin aside so they can have a chat outside. Griffin takes his trusty gun. They hash it out, and Griffin says the real story about Evie Brooks is that she was pretending to join Hermes and she met with Griffin multiple times to learn all the ropes. However, she was actually feeding this information to the professors. Evie told Griffin about her plot, and Griffin meant to just scare her with the silver, but he accidentally killed her. But he doesn't seem too torn up about it. Griffin then tells Robin why they need to be violent to get anything done in this war and hands Robin the gun. Robin initially refuses, but eventually takes it and shoots. And he realizes that the sheer power of pulling the trigger felt good.
Mhm.
The end.
The end. Okay, so we talked about the Letty's part. There is a name drop, Lady Jones
Oh, I don't remember that.
from Anthony. He's like, Lady Jones had the tunnels built.
Oh, okay.
She was sounding to me like maybe member one of Hermes, and I was wondering if we've met a Lady Jones.
There's
I
a
looked,
Sterling Jones.
there's a Sterling Jones too, but Sterling feels like a boy name to me. But
Sterling's a boy name, but maybe his mom
oh,
could
so
be.
we only have 6 minutes. Who are the other faculty that you think are on Hermes Society?
Well, I was wondering if it was that woman faculty who wasn't a
Margaret
girl's girl.
Croft.
Yeah,
I
because she's
looked,
come up. Yeah, what do you think?
well, because I saw Lady Jones and I was like,
Oh,
is it Professor Jones? But it's Margaret Croft. So, but
okay.
she could still be part of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And maybe she could still be Jones. It's a, I don't know, code name or her maiden name or something. But yeah, but she's come up a lot because we don't really know any other faculty other than Playfair and Lovell. There's been a few others.
Chakravarti.
Chakrabarty. Yeah, that's true. I could
I
see
think,
Chakrabarty actually.
I feel like to be an Hermes candidate, your best bet is being a woman or minority.
Yeah.
Because these are the people that Babel is really like horrible to, ooh, exploiting, things like that. So those would be the most likely
Yeah.
people.
Actually, I think Chakrabarty's the most likely. I was thinking maybe the Crofton or whatever her name is. That was her like her act was
Yeah,
not caring
Lady
about the students.
Margaret Croft.
Yeah, Croft.
Well, she's a woman, so I would put her on the docket of the maybes.
Possible. It's possible.
But she was so mean to them. I'm like,
Right. But that's part of her act.
maybe that's part
I
of
don't
the
know.
act. The Severus Snape strategy.
Yeah.
Let me be horrible to the students.
It could work.
Okay, so where did they? So I just read this last chapter this afternoon. Where
Hmm.
did they land? They're going to try to do the lobby, or are they still figuring it out?
I think they're still kind of figuring it out, but they don't want to go the violent route, like Griffin said.
Yeah.
But I guess that was the one-liner of this. Can powerful institutions be changed from within, or does revolution always require violence? What do you
Yeah.
think?
Uh,
It's too big of a question.
it's too big of a question, but I feel like either one can be successful in the short term.
Mm.
But I think if you do something with violence, you're more likely to have this back and forth,
Oh,
a
that's a
tug
good
of
point.
war.
Yeah.
Because if you do something with violence, you victimized people,
Mm-hmm.
even if they were originally the aggressors. Now I've attacked you. Now, now you're a victim. Now
Right.
you want to attack me,
Yeah.
and you just never get out of it.
That's a good point.
I feel like if you want to have long, sustained change, you need to have like systematic changes.
Yeah. And it's about like value changes too,
Yeah,
where it's like maybe we don't want to sell opium because it's not good for the people, even if it means we get tea. Like that would kind of be like the large sweeping change
right.
that would
And,
happen.
and the other thing is because like Griffin's like, well, if we just blow up the tower, we get rid of all the knowledge, we get rid of all of the power for Britain. Okay, some other country's just going to swoop in,
Mm. Fill the void.
fill the void, and do we know if they're going to be any better? Likely they're going to be
Good
the
point.
same
Yeah.
in a different direction, but they're going to be the same. So you're not
Yeah.
going to net any better in the long run. So,
It's a good point.
but it's an impossible question.
Yeah. I know. We'll see how Kwong answers it.
Okay, 2 minutes. Last comment. What do you think?
Um, Last comment. I like it. I Okay, well, I have another question for you. Has this book, especially this last section, reminded you of any other books that we've read?
No, it sounds like it's reminded you though.
Yeah, I feel like this last part reminded me a little bit of like Cerulean Sea, a little bit.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah.
Griffin is Lucy, little like
Yes.
Satan child who's like, we just need to
Yes.
make it burn. And then
Yes.
I feel like there are characters in there where they were just like fools, and I felt like
Yes.
Letty was that role a little bit.
Oh, I see. I
You see what I'm
see.
saying? Yeah.
Hmm.
So it reminded me a little bit of that. And I don't know, does it remind you a little bit of lessons in chemistry, where it's just kind of like a lot of the same themes keep getting repeated and repeated?
It didn't wear on me like lessons in chemistry or House and Cerulean Sea, whereas those did kind of wear on me a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like the reason why it hasn't is because I do feel like it's a pretty full perspective.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about with Letty, it's like, yes, they like yes, Letty is like a little bit of an airhead and isn't doing like everything right, but also who does everything right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. And like it's I think what I didn't like about like lessons in chemistry and even a little bit House and Cerulean Sea is that the there was very clear who's right, who's wrong. And the people who
Right.
were right were correct about
A hundred
everything,
percent. Yeah.
100%. And I feel like there's a little bit more ambiguity where everybody is like kind of misfiring
Somewhere.
independently somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It felt a little more balanced.
I think that's a great point. Yeah, overall, I do feel that way. I think I had read this like all back to back. And so by the end, I was feeling a little bit like, oh, wow, okay.
Fatigued.
Yeah, here again.
Yes.
But I think she does a really good job about painting both sides of the story.
Yeah. I do think a little bit of the fatigue though, like that is maybe on purpose to be
Maybe. Yeah.
like when systematic racism, unconscious bias is happening, it happens
All the
constantly,
time. Yeah.
all the time. And it just gets to a point where you're like, I'm exhausted by this.
Right. That could be. I could see that.
So, yeah.
There you go.
But
Next
yeah,
level.
like at the ball, when I was like, we can't have one nice story. We
Yeah.
can't have one nice
No.
thing.
No, we
No.
can't. None.
And I mean, sometimes like maybe that's what it is. Like you really can't have anything nice. You have to
Yeah.
go like have a private party.
Right. Maybe. Maybe that's it.
Ugh,
All right. What about
okay.
you? Final thought?
Um, I'm enjoying it. I like the book. I think it's very sophisticated. We've talked about all the things we like about it. It brings up a lot of interesting things. I feel like I will be a different person having finished the book,
Mm-hmm.
which I like. I just really don't know where we're going.
Yeah, I'll
It's
kind of
been a
agree
little
with that.
aimless.
Yeah. And now all of a sudden we're lobbyists. I was like, wow, where'd this come from? We're going out to Parliament? We're not even gonna go back to like translating. Like, I don't know.
I hope that the resolution is quick and that there's like a little chunk for an epilogue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to end with the Tower of Babel being blown up and then that's the last page, you
That's
know?
it. Yeah. Little Brando Sando at the
Yeah.
end.
But if this is going to be true to history, then we know the end. And it's that systematic racism is still here, and so is the biases. So, and colonialism still continue to happen. So it seems like, based
Mm,
on where we are today, that they weren't super effective. But,
yeah. Huh. Interesting. That's true.
right?
Yeah. What?
I mean, right? Like,
Yeah. No, that. And I was looking up all the history and stuff, and it's like, well, China loses the war.
yeah.
So, but I feel like it's like what you said. They're going to make some important small difference, even if it's not the overall war.
Hmm.
So we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see what it
We'll
is.
see. Ah, well, this is great.
Yeah. Thanks for potting.
Yeah. So next time we're going to read chapter 23 to the end.
Wow. We're only on chapter 23.
That's If this was a Frida McFadden book, we'd be on chapter 300.
I know. At least. How many pages are there?
Like 560.
If we're on page 400, yeah. We definitely have to be in the 300 chapters by now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, this was so fun.
Yeah, I'll see you next time.
Yeah. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.